If you both as a couple get to the point of believing that your relationship is meant to be through fate, you will automatically switch from, this is no longer working, towards, this is our mission. We were meant to be. We need to figure it out. And then you'll be driven towards figuring out how to come to a conclusion, how to compromise, how to find a solution towards any problem that you go through in your relationship. If you want a relationship to last forever, you've got to break through the first pillar of physical. Then you have to go into the emotional and finally into the spiritual, in which you really believe that it was your mission, your purpose, your life's purpose to be with this person. I have to start with physical, which everybody is at this point in a relationship, and you see it quite a lot in Hollywood and movies where it's all about the emotion, the tension, the sexual drive, the sexual tension between each other, and all of the emotions and the good feelings that you feel in a relationship. But once that goes away, the physical, which is the weakest, they break up. It doesn't make sense anymore to be together because there's no more emotion, there's no more feeling. And it's actually a huge problem in relationships that people are driven to a relationship through just physical. Then there's an emotional side, and the emotional side is kind of in line with the things like your values, the things like how well you lead the relationship, whoever's leading, the guy or the girl. Usually it's the guy, in rare cases it's the girl. Who leads the relationship? How well do they lead? How well do they connect emotionally with their partner and be able to have that time to talk and spend time together? That's the emotional level, and that's the level that you can foster like a skill by simply spending time with your partner and having date nights, times where you just present with her and you're just listening to her and hearing out her emotions, where she feels safe, where she feels comfortable to share things with you. And also that feeling of leading, because it brings out security in you and her, of having her be able to feel like you lead in a way where she just feels like she can just follow along, and she knows that you'll still listen if she doesn't like where she's being led. That is the emotional level. It is not hard to master. It is simply through presence of spending time with her, doing date nights, making sure that you're committed to your word, and leading her in a way that she feels great about her life. And then finally, there's the spiritual level, in which I think the easiest way to share the spiritual level is through religion. And in the Christian faith, it's shared that when two come together, they're joined as one. Now, imagine people who really believe in Christianity, which I am a Christian, and I do believe this, but imagine someone who is so zealous over it and believes that that is the way life is. They believe that marriage is sacred and something that you two were meant to be together. And this narrative is shared in a relationship, and through that, when problems happen, there is not that mindset trigger of, I'm out. I don't like this relationship anymore, I'm just out. Or they did this to me, I'm out. Instead, it becomes something where there's both preventative, like what needs to happen so that it never even gets to the side of a relationship, but also, how do I find a solution towards any fight that we have? How do we solve that? How do we grow as a couple? How do we figure things out? And this doesn't have to be just through religion. It can be through simple narrative and discussions of, hey, like, it's been amazing being with you. Out of so many other women, we share this value. We work better together with this. These types of conversations foster this whole sense of fate guided us to be here. And it doesn't have to be spiritual. It doesn't have to be like religious. It doesn't have to be saying, oh, fate meant for us to be together. It's simply this reinforcement of, if you've heard of what's it called, that positive affirmations. It's kind of the same, where you're doing positive affirmations of sharing what the world is and what you guys are, and you're kind of bringing her into a bubble. It's hard to explain, but I hope I've done a good enough job explaining that. But these are the three levels of what I would say love, right? You have physical, which is all the emotional stuff, and I know that the second is emotional, but I'm talking about like the facade emotion of love, which does fade. Just like anything in life, if you get too much of it, you get a bad emotion from it. If you love cake, but if you eat it like crazy, you're going to hate it. So in the same way, the second is emotional, which is the deeper level. The sense of security, the sense of whatever she wants. If she wants variety and you provide variety, if you desire not variety and just something that's constant and you are that constant person, then you're satisfying that emotional level. Date nights and things like that. And the third is that reinforcement of this belief that you two are meant to be and guided to be together. That's how I would categorize or just say that if you want your relationship to last forever, you really have to hit all three of these, and you have to make sure that you reinforce that idea of the spiritual level of a relationship.